Guys, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us. Today we've got a wedge review on the Mizuno S18 wedge range. A new one to the store this year.
Really good looking stuff too, isn't it?
It is a good looking head. Mizuno offer two wedges to their series. They always have an S line and a T line.
Okay. In wedges.
In wedges.
Yep.
So the S line is obviously their slightly larger head size, and it's not large by any means. It's not a cavity back, but it's their mid-size head range. So I think it will appeal to a lot of people because the T7 is small.
It is small in total shape, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think certainly the kind of, call it better players, lower handicappers, but the people who are looking for that old school shape will really like the T range. But I actually see this fitting a bigger demographic.
Oh, I agree. And honestly, considering this is the bigger one that they make, it's still very compact, isn't it?
Very compact.
Yeah.
It's a good looking shape.
It's really nice.
I think one of the things that Mizuno has over competitors in its space is their forging element.
100%.
There are some other companies, obviously Vokey being one out there that make the dominant wedge in that space. But a lot of people are always curious as to why it's not forged, and kind of especially with the touch shots, they would like something that feels maybe nice and soft, like that traditional Mizuno feel.
Well, you spend the money to get something that feels so nice in the irons.
Yeah.
It does make sense to kind of match that feel in your wedges as well.
Definitely, it does.
And not go cast when you've got forged everywhere else.
The good thing with the S line as well, though, Matty, is it's not just. Sometimes wedges are lacking a little bit in technology.
Okay.
There's not enough sort of help in there. This thing's loaded. I mean, there's every which way you can talk about a technology point.
Really?
One of the things that if you kind of turn it on a side profile and look at it sort of that way, if you look how thick the sort of upper part of the head is.
Up here.
So what they've done is they've relocated the CG a little bit higher in the head so that you retain a little bit more ball speed on some of those high strikes. I mean, especially when you're pitching and the ball's just sit up a little bit in the rough. We've all hit that pitch shot where you catch it a little high in the blade, the ball speed drops, and you whether you hit over a bunker or something, you don't quite kind of carry the full distance. It's a technology that was very popular and highly thought of in the 14 line of irons or wedges, the RM line with the higher CG, and then obviously Vokey over the last couple of editions has talked about variable CG as well, and this has the same sort of technology. Yeah,
that's the shot that I think costs, well, especially me in deeper rough. Yeah. And you hit that kind of fluffy one off here, and it just goes nowhere, and you end up making a double. Like that's a great idea to kind of address that. And how much that makes a difference is probably going to be subjective.
Well, that's right, and obviously the more loft you have, and the more that kind of back edge tilts backwards, the more likely, if we lose face height, so if we take that wedge and we kind of turn it down, turn the loft down as much as possible, the more loft we add, the less face height we have.
Right.
So you're very susceptible. If you open the blade and try and hit that one, there's every chance you're going to hit it up in the top of the head if you're short-sided and you need the loft, but the ball's sitting in a kind of bit of a funky lie. There's every chance you're going to catch it high in the blade. So the benefits of that design are built in there, which is great.
Yep. And on a full swing, if you got a bit of a fluffy line, you tend to strike one up here. Yeah. Good to get a little bit more distance out of something that wasn't perfectly struck.
For sure, definitely. So on a material construction standpoint, with Mizuno having their JPX line with the boron infused forging, this has the same
thing.
Same thing. So in the actual sort of initial material, before it even gets made into the billet of steel, that's when the boron gets infused into the kind of material at that time, and then obviously it's put into its billet, which is the one piece head that it starts, and then from there that's how they forge it. So the benefit of that boron is with a wedge is going to be the longevity of your grooves.
I was just going to say, is that durability thing?
Yeah, that's exactly. It helps the face last a little bit longer. You get a few more, certainly a few more sort of months of play out than you would out of a sort of regular soft forging. So
it's important because if you practice a lot of bunker shots 100%. And stuff, those things wear down fast.
They really do. Yeah, they really do. Was it 75 rounds or so?
Something like that.
75 to 100 rounds is kind of some of the marketing spiel around how long it should be before you change your wedges. So everyone's different. You know, you may be a sort of bit of a range rat, a grinder out there, and go out and hit a ton of wedge shots and bunker shots, and you may, you know, reduce the longevity of those wedges, or you might not practice much and you get several seasons.
I was going to say you get more seasons.
Everyone's a little bit different.
So just quickly, this little bit of a notch we've got back here kind of just helps retain a little bit of ball speed on mishits.
Exactly.
Which I think is missing from so many, as you say, there's not that many, well, percentage-wise, a small category of golfers that are going to hit the middle of the face every time.
That's right.
Even, you know, a low handicap player is going to toe some and heel some. So this being a profile that I think looks great at address, and them hiding that little bit of a notch here, I can see this being kind of a real winner, because it's not really, it's really kind of no drawback to it. It's not, it doesn't look sort of overly big, but you get that forgiveness.
Definitely. We've seen that actually since we brought them into the store. It's actually, in the time we brought the S18 into the store, it's actually our top-selling wedge in the shop.
Really, since you guys have brought it in?
And we've had it now for about 3 months. And in that 3 month spell, we've sold more S18 wedges than anything.
Wow.
You know, I think when people hit them, they'll hit them against some other ones, and you know, with the tech and different stuff, they love the feel of the Mizuno one.
I can see that.
You know, I will say a little asterisk against that is we've been doing so well with the Mizuno Irons. Yeah, it's quite an easy one to match up. So there's probably a little bit of a tendency to pair the wedges with the irons if you like the irons anyway.
Yep.
So I will say that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, we're not against you know, pairing it up as long as it works.
Yes.
You know, we're just not up for pairing with brands just so you have one brand
for the sake of it.
Yep. That doesn't make any sense. Right. But they're really good, and I really like the performance. One of the other things I love about what Mizuno have done with this wedge is they have so many loft and bounce options.
Yeah, you were saying it's almost every degree you can get, right?
Every single degree, but they've not made you know, 25 heads or anything like that.
Right.
What they've basically done is they've went with you know, a 46, a 50, 54, 58, and what they do is they subtly adjust the loft and
so they're bending it, obviously.
So they get different bounces along with the different lofts.
And then they change this little medallion in here.
They change that little badge at the back.
Smart, I think.
So the wedge goes everywhere from 45 degrees all the way up to 62.
In every single degree.
In 1 degree increments.
That's very cool.
Which we can obviously do with any wedge anyway, but what Mizuno have done, which is really smart, is they've just, like you said, that little medallion in the back, they just, with the adjustment, they just put the
I think that's cool.
exact loft that you end up with.
Because it may not be super important to someone, but if you have a 54 and you are someone that plays it at 55, I don't know, just as a preference thing, it's kind of cool to have the exact number on
it. It really is, and what we've done in the past for people who we do that with is, you know, we'll do a little stamping with it. So if you play a 56 at 55 or 57 or whatever, a lot of our customers have asked us to, just as a reminder or whatever, you know,
so you know what you're working with,
just so you know, just stamp it on the back.
That's cool.
Just so they know.
Okay, so we are going to use this wedge on a hole that is perfect for a wedge as long as it's not windy. 7 at Pebble Beach.
Number 7, yep.
We're not playing it in the wind, which is nice for me. About 110 yards we're going to tee off from, so we're going to hit some full shots with the 56.
And that's about your number, isn't it, with 56?
With a bit of downhill, it's about right. Okay. So we'll see, kind of curious to see how it performs when you don't strike it perfect.
Yeah.
Curious to see how much it spins.
Definitely.
And obviously curious to see how it feels.
Let's do it.
It's kind of weird. You can't. I guess you can just barely see the top.
You can just see the top of it fluttering. Now we've kind of got you hanging off the back edge a little bit.
Yardage.
Because we're trying to, you know, obviously we know that this is your sand wedge yardage. So I would say, Matty, you having watched this hole a million times, you'll be the same way on TV. You probably want to hit it 112, 113.
Pull it back.
Yeah, because most people will pull it back a little bit on this
And the green seems to slope a bit back to front.
It does.
At least that's the way it looks here.
And remembering as well, when you're hitting downhill, the land angle will be steeper.
Right.
So you actually will impart more effective spin on the steeper land angle.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so if you, depending on the angle the ball comes into the green at, so you can be, you know, 11,000 RPMs of spin to a raised green, because the angle of entry into the green is shallow, the ball will skip, then stop.
And then stop.
But because this is steep, it will basically stop and then rip back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right, let's take a little look.
We're going to play a bit long of the pin then.
I feel this, man. Way more than, wow, I even go back to my 90s. It's like nuts.
Okay, so about the distance. There's your little spinner.
I just had a little open, so it didn't quite come in. Tons of spin.
Yep.
Now, a little bit toey, so good indication already. We pretty much got the full yardage there. That's better.
That was nice.
Expect that to fly a hair further.
Oh,
Zip.
very nice.
So that's probably a little further than we need to fly it. 11,000.
So you're hovering, around 30 degrees launch. That was a little bit less. Spin up around 11,000.
Is that about what you look for, ideally, with the 56?
Yeah, and we know that's about you. When you get into your sand wedge spins around 10,500 to 11, your lob wedge spins a little bit more, a little closer to 11,500 to 12.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hit well. It's going to have a lot of spin, I think. Yep. Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. It's coming in very steep.
Yep.
It's not even really bouncing. It's just coming right back.
Yeah, pretty much just stopping. But look at that angled descent. It's coming in at 55 degrees.
Wow.
So it's coming in, really, really steep.
So I'm looking at the last strike. A little bit of a cover residue here.
Yep.
Probably about maybe 10 millimeters or so on the toe.
And most people are a little bit toe side on their wedges.
Interesting.
Yeah. We with the impact stickers on GC Quad, we do see that people favour that.
Certainly getting, seems like the full distance out of it. It's a little soft on that swing, just to try to get it a little more pin high.
Good though.
Yeah. Still, I mean, for
tons
a
of
slower
spin,
swing, lots of spin on that, isn't there?
Yeah.
How many people do you fit that need less spin? Like, how common is that?
It just, I mean, next
no
to
one,
none.
right? Yeah.
I mean, next to none. If you get the odd player, to be honest, you can solve it with a ball change. And that's the thing. Like,
true enough.
If you spin it that much, I think on all the ball testing we've seen, that's where AVX, balls like AVX, Strixon, Z-Star, XV, especially those two, you can definitely take a ton of spin off it with those two.
These are definitely spinning as much as anything I've tried, though.
Yeah.
Because you've found glides spin a ton.
Yep.
For most people.
They do. The biggest thing, Matty, in all honesty, is achieving the correct spin is so much about getting the right sole interaction with the turf.
Okay.
So picking the right bounce is one element, but obviously there's 5 elements to choosing the right sole for your wedge.
Right.
So you've got the bounce, you've got the sole width, the radius, the camber, you've got the grind. So those are the 5 elements that combine to make the right wedge.
And this has a bit of trailing edge relief on it?
Trail edge relief.
Which
so if you're in the bunker,
you recommend mostly?
Yeah, you want to open it a little bit. Okay, let's hit a couple more, but this looks really nice. I think
liking it so far, yeah.
Let's get one pretty close here.
Try to juggle.
Scare the hole a little bit.
That might do. It's a little shy though. Get up.
Yeah, really good. It's really nice. Yeah, you just took a little bit off of that one.
Yeah, just a bit of ball speed
dropped a little bit, which is fine. So, but look how consistent your launch angles are.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Absolutely, I love that.
And the strikes have not been all identical. Couple center, couple a little bit on the toe side. That last one, to be honest with you, was maybe even a fraction heavy.
I can't tell you how big of a fan I am of seeing things like that.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. If I see like a one degree discrepancy between what your ball is doing as it launches, I mean all over that. It's just predictability, no surprises. We don't need the wedge to do something that we're not expecting.
So that's like a design characteristic. They've designed a wedge that I guess is consistent sort of across the face to give a similar launch angle. Is that something they can sort of control with design?
That was
I think so much of it is just, obviously we've got a really good player delivering it, which is going to be the biggest variable in this whole thing.
Right.
But this is a good wedge for you.
Yeah.
You know, a 56-10 would be about right in the ballpark of where you would want to play this.
Interesting.
We might not see as consistent results if we had too much or too little bounce.
Okay.
So we're getting really good interaction. You're making good contact.
Right.
So that's a big help.
Try to hit one a fraction lower. I think a lot of times people will look at a wedge like the glides or this with a cavity and wonder, are you going to hit the ball too high?
Yeah.
Or am I able to hit different shots with it?
Right.
Would you get anyone asking you about that because they're a traditional sort of blade wedge player?
Yeah, they might. They might. But I think, like you said, even though this would be categorized as their kind of mid-size head, so you've got the 919 wedges, which are good as well. I mean, we'll do a little review
about those,
on those ones as well on the channel. Those are for the players who need a little bit more help, but they still want a wedge design. They still want the characteristics of the wedge. So maybe with this is too much of a drop-off in performance for them, rather than using a wedge that has the same characteristics, or basically the same design features as their 4-iron, 6-iron. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But these are sort of still in keeping with the set, but they're more subtle.
They're kind of blended in, right?
They are.
Okay. All right. I'll try to flight one a little low, and then we'll switch and go a little closer.
We'll move you up a little bit. We'll try some, because it's so important to see how the wedge performs in partial shots.
You want to make sure it spins enough, right?
Yeah.
On those partial ones. Okay. I'll try to flight it down a bit. Seemed flatter to me. Oh, that's nice, yeah.
That's nice.
Still tons of spin, but not too much. Yeah, I like that a lot.
And that's probably the ideal way to play this shot, to kind of almost feel like you are going to flatten out a little bit, take a little bit, if you've got a lot of spin, because we know historically this hole very often plays into the wind.
It's unlikely you're getting no wind.
We've seen guys hitting 5, 7, and 5 irons into this when in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Very true.
So
yeah, that little shot came off really nice, and we shaved 4 degrees of launch, or 3, sorry.
Yeah,
off the
3
launch
degrees
angle.
off the launch, 1,000 off the spin.
So no issue playing that shot whatsoever.
You flighted it down 10 feet.
That's good.
Yeah, which is really good.
This is probably about as good looking a wedge at address as I've seen.
Is that right?
I don't know what you think, but it's
nice.
No,
I love
Isn't
it. I think it looks
really
great.
Nice. The shape of it, and you've said that's kind of been their thing, that sort of teardrop shape.
Yeah.
It's really good looking.
Yeah, no, it really is. Okay, let's move you forward.
All right.
That's nice.
It's about 80 yards.
Full vista. Yeah, so about 80. So a nice little. What's this for you? A little. Is it 3/4?
So I've got a kind of a shot where I take this loft of wedge and try to make what feels like about a chest high swing.
Okay.
And it
so
gives
like
me around that.
In DeChambeau speak, a 10 o'clock swing.
Yeah.
So the hands.
I can't quite think the way
that.
he thinks, but yes. 10:01 as he would probably put it. It's winning tournaments though. Can't argue with him.
Yes.
Might have been a bit
How's
soft.
that?
Yeah, it's good.
Awfully good.
I thought it was a bit soft, but it was perfect.
79 right on the number.
So not struck amazing, but still 8,000 spins decent. Happy with that. It was hit a bit better. It's probably why it spun more.
Yeah, spin a
Flew
little bit more.
shorter.
So probably lowered the launch a little bit as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, fractionally. Yeah, lowered the launch, up the spin. How was the ball speed on that one?
Probably dropped a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, just a fraction.
Didn't quite give it as much. Try to be a little more aggressive on this one. That should be pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
That's a lot of spin, isn't it?
Good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Plenty of stopping power. I mean, 9,200 RPMs.
So much control. That's great.
On an 80-yard shot is really good. And you can see that relationship again of the really good strikes. When you up the spin, it pulls the launch angle down.
Right.
So we're increasing, to get into the kind of geek talk, the coefficient of friction.
Yeah.
So
that's what physically pulls the ball
yeah,
downwards.
That's what it is. It's the friction of the strike. So you actually shallowed that one a fraction, which was interesting. Okay. So a hair shallower, and you brought your flight down. Really, really good stuff.
That's really nice, isn't it? I have absolutely nothing negative to say about that whatsoever.
Nothing.
I feel really nice.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The forged, I guess when you go to the wedge, like a Vokey wedge doesn't feel hard. I don't think.
No, I don't think so at all.
I don't think it feels hard. So it's not that this is like, oh, all of a sudden this feels like really soft. I just think it feels a lot like Mizuno Irons feel. Right. And that's what you'd want. That's what you'd be paying for.
It's very true.
And that's in that sense, right?
Yeah, there's a couple other things about this wedge. I just love I love the way Mizuno are paying attention to certain details. For them, on their custom offerings last year, they looked at their sales throughout the year and saw that the Golf Pride multi-compound plus 4 was the most ordered, requested grip. Yeah, so the reduced taper, the plus 4 wraps of tape at the bottom hand to reduce the taper. Right. They saw that people were ordering mostly that wedge, so they make it as a stock offering. That's a great idea. Offer more value to the customer. So if they're offering that or asking for that as a custom option, that means most people obviously want it. Yep. Why not do that? So when you're up and if you want to choke down that a little bit, you know, the grip doesn't reduce and taper as much.
I like that a lot for a choke. I don't choke up on my wedges a ton, but when I do, that's the one thing I think is I don't like how thin a normal grip feels. Yeah. So that's a very smart. Well, I save people, it's like $15 of value getting a nice grip on there too.
Without a doubt.
No, these are really nice.
It's good, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. I mean, I'm sure there's not too much buzz about these wedges.
Should be more.
Yeah, definitely. They don't kind of get mentioned in the category of performance leaders, really, do they?
Is it because they're too new? Is that what it is? Like they're just not out there yet? Are we the only ones that have reviewed these?
Who knows? I certainly haven't seen much else.
I haven't seen enough about them.
In there, but get out and try them. Hit them, and when you're going and you're comparing a bunch of others, whether it be Glide Forged, Vokey. Obviously, the new RTX 4s are just out and they look fantastic as well. Yeah, we've got those coming up very soon. I mean, this is a contender in that category, 100%. Yep. I think you get so much value out the forging, the Japanese forging with the wedges at the standard sort of rack rate price. Yeah, I think there's so much.
They're not like they're overly expensive or anything.
It's not like it's not like you're in the Epon Mura, high end price points.
It's not $400 a wedge or something crazy.
Exactly. So it's well worth it.
So the wedge that we want to talk about next time is this one here. Yeah. This is the JPX line of wedges.
That's the 919. Yep.
So let us know if you guys are curious to see a review of these. This is a little bit more of a forgiving, set that would blend in well with a larger set of irons.
That's right.
Something like that.
Definitely. And you can see, a little bit of a, this is the 60 grab, but a bit of a wider sole. Yeah. It doesn't come in as many options. It's for the player who's maybe not specifically quite yet ready to see the full benefits of a subtle bounce change, that type of thing. So they're looking just to improve their wedge game on the whole. So they got a little bit of a cavity back to it, but fairly general features. But it's definitely better than using what would be like a 919 hot metal lob wedge or something like that.
Exactly. So you're getting the benefit of the forgiveness, but it's still a good-looking wedge. It
is, isn't it? I mean, you look at the shape. I mean, it's
at address. I don't think you would notice the fact that it has all this. So again, let us know if you guys want to see that. It's a cool category, I think, sort of your game improvement wedge. So
that's right.
I'd like to maybe we can do a little shootout with some other similar ones and see how they compare. The only drawbacks you would think would be, I guess, versatility maybe and maybe a bit of spin, but we would obviously find out in a little test.
Well, we're going to find out what those drawbacks are and compare it to something that we know is of exceptional performance like the S18.
Test that. That's really good.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Good.
Excellent. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Let us know if you've tried it. If it's if you've been one of the few that have went out and tried it. and kind of we'd love to hear your feedback, especially if you've got a set and you've had them out playing and you've had some good results with them. We'd love to hear about it. And any kind of specialist product, I'd call this a specialist product. It's not a mainstream high performer. So if there's any performing wedges that you would like us to test, give you guys feedback on, we're happy to do that. We're getting more access to more companies and more products, and we have the ability to reach out now and kind of get some products to test. So
that's a good point.
If there's something you would like to see us get Matty's hands over the next coming months, we'd be happy to do that, wouldn't we?
We got Ben Hogan's coming, so you don't have to request that.
Yeah.
We've already been in touch with them. They're sending a bunch of stuff. But no, I think it's good. It's been fun over the last little bit to get some Wilson stuff in and just kind of broaden our horizon a bit in terms of the stuff that we'll test.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's always going to be stuff that maybe other channels have got brands overseas that we might not get, but for the most part, I mean, we're going to have access to just about whatever we can, send an email to, and if they're willing to ship it our way, then we'll test it.
That's it. Okay. Excellent. Guys, good stuff. Leave your comments below. We'll, as always, we'll do our best to get back to as many, if not all of you. Subscribe to the channel.
Yes,
keep hitting that red button. We really do appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon.